That's not
Russo was in
Andrea.
McMahon's ear in late 96 with Everything Sucks, including the new Saturday morning TV show on USA Livewire. Russo didn't get Pettingill because he didn't think that Todd was a real wrestling fan. So he kept after Vince about how bad this show was. At the time, of course, it was Todd Pettingill and Sonny as hosts. So McMahon asked, why don't you do the show? And the TV debut of Vic Venom was all set. Now, we told you the story about Vince Russo spoiling the 97 Royal Rumble live on Livewire and McMahon's reaction to that. If you want to check it out, it's in our archives. The 1997 Royal Rumble episode has what you're looking for. Bruce, how did you think Russo did on TV here? And why didn't we see Russo on TV beyond Livewire? Of course, we all remember that Russo was on TV when he was with WCW and TNA, but not more here in the WWF. Why didn't that happen? And how did you think he did when he was there?
Okay, so Russo walked in and told Vince everything sucked. And Vince, he cut an emotional promo on Vince McMahon about how everything sucked, nothing was real, and we don't have any real characters, and that the heels aren't real because they're all just traditional heel wrestling characters, and nobody speaks from the heart. And so Vince McMahon said, all right, you know what? Why don't you go on Livewire and say what you just cut that promo, say what you just said to me, and do it on TV. You give me a better character. So Vince Russo, who talks about how everything sucks and how everything's not realistic and how people aren't speaking from the heart and they're just cutting traditional heel promos, goes on Livewire as Vic Venom, because that's a real character, Vic Venom, and cuts a traditional heel promo just like everybody else. And the only difference was that his was not good. Vince McMahon called me at home right after it aired and said that was the worst thing I have ever seen on television. I said, well, you're the one that told him to go on there and do it. So Russo felt that he got ganged up on because everybody told him it wasn't good and so on and so forth. And then Vince McMahon just kind of worked with him and said, okay, you know, goddamn, you got to back it off a little bit. You got to do this. But McMahon did it as a way to
Teach him.
Yes. It's like there's a lot more to this than just going out and saying everything sucks.
Right.
So that was his first deal. And he just wasn't good.
There is something to be said. It's not required necessarily, but there is something to be said, you know, in order to really understand what the on-camera or in-ring or on-screen performer is thinking or their thought process or is going through or any of that stuff. You kind of got to do it once or twice just to kind of get their point of view or perspective, right?
You do. It's an art form, and it's not as easy as it sounds. It's not as easy as just getting up and saying, hey, everything sucks.